This week on Pure Brews America, we get messy. Really messy.
But first, it's time to see what the brothers Kuhnhenn have brewing up their sleeves.
Yeah, it's the best beer you can get. I mean, honestly, it's some of the best beer in Michigan, no question.
I'm Ryan Terpstra, Shannon Long's in the dunk tank. Why? Why not? We're having fun at Coonan Brewery. Sorry about that. Cheers.
All across America, the craft beer industry is exploding. I'm Ryan Terpstra, professional beer lover.
And I'm Shannon Long, founder and CEO of Brew Export.
Let us be your tour guides behind the scenes, where we will meet the key players and the beer makers and learn how they turn their dreams into reality.
We'll be traveling across the state to introduce you to some of Michigan's best beers.
It's a craft beer revolution on Pure Brews America.
Cheers to that.
This is Coonan Brewing Company. In its previous life, the building was a hardware store owned by Eric and Brett Kuhnhenn's father. But as these two brothers became more involved in the family business, the more they changed the products that were offered for sale.
We were in the hardware business. Two other hardware stores carried beer and wine supplies. So that used to be like the tradition, like during Prohibition. Yeah. You go to the hardware store to get your supplies. And the closest one was really like 30 minutes away. So why don't I start selling the supplies myself in the hardware store? I took over an 8-foot section. My first order was like, was it like $5,000? My family flipped out.
I flipped out coming back from college and saying, what did you do?
Advertised in the local papers to get the word out, where we had supplies, and talked a lot of people into making their own beer just at the counter, which wasn't that hard. It was pretty cool.
What I really like about Kuhnhenn, they started out as homebrewers. These guys are grassroots kind of dudes, and they never really lost that feel. They sponsor a homebrew club, they've got their homebrew shop. Anytime the homebrewers need information, go to Brett and Eric, they'll tell you whatever you need to know.
My brother and I decided that, we don't want to be in the hardware business anymore. By that time, 3/4 of this store was homebrew supplies. We were still doing screen and window repair. So you could come in, get a pint of beer, and we could work on your screen.
Brett and Eric convinced their family that it was time to take the business in a new direction, so they searched near and far to bring home the equipment needed to open Coonan Brewing Company.
So we traveled around the country, and we bought these tanks in Vermont, strapped them on a trailer, and drove them home. And we've traveled all around the country. Some of the conical fermenters that we got out of Arizona. They were actually in a ballpark.
These particular tanks were in the U.S. that we have next door. We're in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and a hurricane went through. They closed the brewery up because it destroyed it, and then they ended up putting it on the mainland, and then we ended up getting them.
These guys are known for their wide range of beers, but there was one name that kept coming up when you talked to their fans.
Drippa, drippa, drippa. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Walk in the door, get a drippa, and then go from there.
We won the gold medal in the IPA category at the World Beer Cup in 2012 with this particular beer. And for us, it totally changed the game. I mean, we were already ramping up at that point, and that gave us substantially more notoriety in the beer enthusiast world, where a little brewery from Warren, Michigan beat out 170 other IPAs in a competition held in San Diego, Southern California, the hotbed of IPAs. So that was pretty sweet.
We use rice, which is technically an adjunct or an additive, but we use that for a sugar source, a starch source to turn into sugar, which allows us to get the high gravity, but we still have a beautiful soft mouthfeel to it. It's not heavy or chewy, and then the hopping profile of it, it just takes it to another level. So for me, it's just the epitome of good beer in the American style, I guess.
We were well known at a very young age into the brewing business as being high-octane brewers. Pretty much places that the complexity of flavor and aroma that you can get from a high-alcohol beer plays off of what people see in fine quality wines.
This is a session IPA. It's the fluffer. It's 4.5%. So it's got all the big, bold flavors that you want in an IPA, flavors and aromas, but low enough in alcohol where you're not falling off the bar stool.
You know, it's a great session IPA. Knock a few back, you're not gonna lose your mind. You know, it's Drippa's little brother. It's got the great hop character, you know, the citrusy hop thing going on. Very refreshing beer, good in the wintertime, good in the summertime as well.
Looney Cooney Pale Ale.
The original.
Literally the first beer that Brett and Eric brewed that really got this whole thing started. It was the impetus to this wild game that we're playing nowadays.
The popularity of Kuhnhenn has led to a second location in Clinton Township, giving fans another venue to experience award-winning beers and great food.
It's a huge project. It's amazing to see everything it takes, things you wouldn't even imagine, and like we all have to tap into skills that we didn't even know we had. And I mean, learning on the fly, everything about it's been a real learning experience.
It's not intimidating. Like, you can walk in and if you know a lot about beer or if you don't know about beer, you don't feel out of place one way or the other.
It is one of the few places that you can walk in and be treated like family right from the start, with just genuine, authentic people who care about you as a person, but also great beer.
And obviously with all the awards they've won, it's some of the best beer in the world. So it's worth the trip for sure.
Like, you need to come. You need to come see what we can do here.
After the break, whether it's warm or cold, a Michigan Brewers Guild festival is where it's at.
I admire the people that put this together. It takes a lot of work and effort, and I appreciate what everybody does.
And then it's time to grab a paddle and head to Right Brain Brewery.
You're gone, you're on the shot.
The tree. Cheers.
Stay tuned, more Pure Brews America coming up.
At Lawrence Technological University, you'll go way beyond the books. Professors with real-world experience deliver hands-on instruction in small classes, helping students land co-ops, internships, and research projects. By graduation, 80% of LTU students have jobs or plans to pursue master's degrees. And most Lawrence Tech grads earn more than their peers. So if you're ready to embrace your possibilities, we want you at LTU.
Why are you all here? To learn, right? So you can get a good job, so you're not working for peanuts. Well, what if I told you that peanuts can work for you? While you guys are busy napping, peanuts are delivering 7 grams of protein and 6 essential nutrients right to your mouth. You ever seen a peanut take a day off? No. Peanuts don't even get casual khaki Fridays, because peanuts take their job seriously. So unless you want a life of skimming Wi-Fi off the neighbors, you'll harness the hard-working power of the peanut.
At Rogue Brewing, we have a burning passion to bring you the best beers, including Livewire, a classic American IPA that is shockingly refreshing. Powerboat, our Belgian wheat beer with summer zest. Mean Street, an American amber that is clean as it is mean. And Devil Dog, our oatmeal stout brewed in honor of our nation's veteran. Rogue Brewing Company, aggressively brewed in Royal Oak, Michigan. Rogue On.
This is The Middle, a place where somehow common sense just seems a little more common. Where people come together, look each other in the eye, and get to work. Our hands may be calloused or sometimes sore, but we raise them quickly and lend them easily. Because this is the heart of the heartland. This is Michigan, and we're big believers in more. Like we can always do a little more, give a little more, love a little more, and find ways for our families to have a little more. We were born and raised here, and for 80 years now, we've made it our business to do whatever we can to help people have and do a little more.
What is Meijer Beer Frontier?
The Meijer Beer Frontier is your online home for discovering and exploring Michigan's best breweries and beers. This fall, find something crisp and balanced to refresh your taste buds and pair with your favorite foods. Explore 8 different flavor profiles with the Meijer Beer Frontier.
You can kind of see everything great they're doing with the whole industry partnering with a lot of these breweries. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that.
I think it's a great partnership. They source again locally and try to support as many local brands as they possibly can. So it would be an honor and a privilege to work with them in the future.
Meijer's is awesome for us. I mean, we just picked up more stores. That's why our volume is up. Meijer's is definitely promoting craft beer, which is an awesome thing. When I worked at Travers Brewing Company and a couple other places, we could not get into Meijer's. And now, once the gates open, now they're like, oh, well, look at all this.
Come on in.
Exactly. I mean, it's good that they've got really good programs. And actually, Meijer's teaches a lot of craft brewers how to do things. I've dealt a lot with some of the Meijer's guys, the purchasers, and they've actually helped. You know, I used to work for Pairing for a little bit, and they really helped them get going and get their name out there.
Enjoy a style you like or try something new. Let Meijer be your guide across the beer frontier. Every year, the Michigan Brewers Guild hosts 4 great events throughout the state, including the Winter Beer Festival in February, the Summer Beer Festival in July, the UP Fall Beer Festival in September, and the Detroit Fall Beer Festival the following month. The key to their success, besides the vast selection of incredible brews, is the passionate and dedicated volunteer group that make these festivals happen.
These are people who do it just for their sheer love of doing it. You know, they're not making money. Like, they take time off of work to come out here and do this. It just wouldn't work without them.
I don't think you could even count the number of volunteer hours and the number of people that have stepped up to make it great. You have a lot of people working hard, selflessly, to make a great time for thousands of people.
I got involved in 2001, and I went to that first one in Ypsi, and I said, I like this, I like the people, and I can see room for improvement, let alone getting involved. And I just put out some feelers and pretty much got sucked in there.
We have a core group of about 8 or 10 rock solid people that have been doing this for the last 10 or 15 years. The amount of work that gets done behind the scenes are incredible.
They're so into it, and they're so good at what they do, handling specific tasks.
We've kind of improved from working with go-karts and hand delivering the kegs, and now we have them on skids and we move them out with forklifts. So we've improved the technology over the years, and we've really turned it into kind of a science to how efficiently we've become at it. You know, 1,000 beers is a lot of beers to move. Last night it got cold enough that we couldn't leave the beers out, so all of them had to go back into the shed.
My team is most of the grounds organization. The layout of all the brewery tables, physically putting tables up, all of the banners, all of the hops, the flags, and then a whole lot of traffic management and just making sure that everything is flowing. Most of the grounds organization.
We do all the tents and portable toilets and tables and chairs for many festivals across the state, but we do all the Michigan Brewers Guild. It's kind of my little niche because I love Michigan beer, so I've kind of put my heart and soul into trying to get my tents to all the brewers in the state. We do the Marquette, we do the Detroit, Ypsilanti in here. Scott Graham, Eric Brigham, they do an awesome job, and we feel real fortunate just to be part of it.
Everyone has a role that they have to do, and everyone does it incredibly well. That's kind of the secret to everything. Like, we all trust each other to do the job right.
It just keeps growing and growing and growing. It's so hard to keep up with, but it's so exciting. It's so awesome.
Legacy is definitely part of it. We try and, pass the torch as we can because, again, this is a long, ongoing process. It's going to involve, it already involves decades. And, if everything in Michigan goes well with the brewing community, many decades to come.
Let's drink Michigan beer from coast to coast, from far to near. It's local and delicious, any styles that you wishes. Raise your glass and toast your friends. Let's drink Michigan beer.
When we first started, I was joking a lot about how people think we're a restaurant and we're a bar. So they treat us like a restaurant and we treat them like we're a bar.
There's a lot of bars that just have frozen stuff and they just, fry it and put it on a plate. We do a lot of stuff from scratch here. That kind of differentiates the food from just a typical bar and grill.
But as we've evolved, we've become a lot more about food and beer. Beer is awesome with food.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
We're from Hopcat.
Today we're gonna make beer jerky. All right, Gary, we're gonna start off with our beer marinade for our steak. We're gonna start with soy sauce, a little bit of garlic, a pinch of black pepper there. And then we've got roasted red pepper flakes there. You need to squeeze a little bit of lime juice in there.
1 bottle of beer.
We're using a dark Belgian for this. This is a flank steak, which I'm gonna cut into thin strips so we can get our jerky nice and thin.
All right, so we've got our marinade. We've got our flank steak cut. So we're gonna add the flank steak to a bag. Here you go. Let's add some marinade to these. Bag test. All right.
All right, next we're gonna take our meat that's been marinated overnight and we're gonna put it on this rack here and throw it in the oven.
What temperature are we gonna cook this and how long?
We're gonna cook this in the oven at 170 for about 6 hours.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And I'd probably make beer jerky.
Coming up next, a beer as good as homemade cherry pie.
Teamwork.
There we go.
Teamwork makes the pie hole work. Right Brain takes being creative to a whole new level. Next on Pure Brews America.
LTU students have jobs or plans to pursue master's degrees. And most Lawrence Tech grads earn more than their peers. So if you're ready to embrace your possibilities, we want you at LTU.
Lazy days and lazy nights. I'm sitting at the bar and everything's alright. Just kicking back and taking my time. And I feel fine.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Classic. Here we are, big fella. Come get it, big guy.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
We want you.
We are Lawrence Technological University, and we don't want just anyone.
We want the brainiacs, visionaries, geniuses, and game changers. We want the students who will change the world through technology, science, business, and design.
So if you're ready to explore your possibilities,
we want you at LTU.
Lawrence Tech. Possible is everything.
I'm Shannon Long, and I've got peanut butter.
I'm Ryan Terpstra, and I got cherry pie.
And we're brewing beer.
No, really, we're brewing beer at Right Brain Brewery.
They say that the right side of your brain is where creative thoughts and emotions are formed. That designation could not fit this Traverse City Brewery any better, because when you look at the beers and the food that they put out, it seems like the right side is the only side of the brain that they use.
They have a pork beer made with actual pigs. They have like a pie beer made with, they put full blueberry pies in there. So they just have like weird stuff that where else are you gonna get that? And it's good, Like why would you think asparagus beer would be good? You wouldn't, but you'll try it and it's delicious.
he obviously pushes the envelope. There's a lot of unique beers here you can't get anywhere else.
So you can come in here and you can have a different beer almost every time. And even the next time you come in here, they'll probably have a new one on the lineup.
It's kind of crazy, kind of eclectic, that kind of a thing. So I think it's pretty nice.
So you're literally drinking the local scene. So come and try just how different everything is.
All right, John, so we're making Thai peanut.
Thai peanut, that's right.
And we're about to get covered in peanut butter.
No, you are.
Hey, man. So where did you guys come up for the concept of this beer?
It was developed many years ago at the old brewery when we were much smaller than this. Just something funky. That's what we try to do around here, keep beer curious.
The question I'm sure you're asking, they don't actually put stuff like peanut butter in the beer, right? Well, yes, they do.
So we're gonna put the peanut butter, then add the beer on top of it, and let it ferment.
This is unreal. So just keep throwing it in.
Yeah, just throw it in, smear it around.
So sticky, you can't get it off my hand.
Just smear it in there.
Ow.
There you go. You can toss it if you'd like. Just toss it in there.
We're throwing peanut butter.
Like an abstract painting. Yeah,
Oh, God.
Nice.
That was a good one. Oh, I'm getting it messy. This is way too messy. How do you guys clean this out? Oh gosh.
Lots of water.
Is that enough, or do we have to do more?
That looks pretty good. Pretty darn
Besides the all over the floor.
good. Well, I think most of it ended up in the tank.
It does. It is literally covered in peanut butter. That's some craziness.
It wouldn't be a visit to Traverse City without brewing with cherries, but this is Right Brain, so you can't just use cherries the old-fashioned way.
What are we doing?
I don't know what you're doing, but we're putting lots of cherry pies and crust in a beer.
So we're taking 80 of these pies and putting them into a beer.
81.
81 pies into one beer, and that beer is called Pie Hole.
Cherry Pie Hole.
Cherry Pie Hole.
And we get the pies from Grand Traverse Pie Company. So what we got here is a bagged up version of the pie. That's our finished product. Well, that's what we'll put into the fermenter, tied off, so that we can actually get the beer out without plugging up our ports.
Gotcha. You don't want all of these pie chunks in your beer or plugging things
Yeah,
up.
we don't want it in the final product. We just want the flavor from all the goods.
So really the concept is kind of like a giant tea bag, except with pie instead of, tea.
We're tea bagging it. Let's pull this right back. There you go. Now go right from here to here.
Oh, okay. Just grab it. Oh my God. As if the peanut butter wasn't crazy enough, somehow Right Brain stepped it up.
You don't have to get us dirty for this. All right. That looks good.
Cool. High five.
All right, that's one of many. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is a full one, and then we'll have six of these bags going into one batch. Ooh, I might be able to help you. If we can pull this down just a little bit here, might be able to make it a little easier on you.
There we go. Oh. Teamwork. Teamwork makes the pie hole work. Oh, God. Just throw it in?
Yeah, throw it in there. That's a big bag. I think that's the biggest one.
That's a lot of pie.
That's a lot of pie. Slippery. Got it. Let it go.
There she goes. We got it.
How was that?
There you go. I can hold it for you. You're a pro. You don't need my help.
I feel like I'm birthing an elephant right now.
All right. I think she's ready for some beer.
Yeah.
Or some wort, at least.
That was another high five?
Yeah.
Cherry high five.
The main mind behind all this craziness is the owner, Russell Springsteen, who used to apply his creative talents in another form of customer service.
I cut hair for the better part of 18 years. I'm a licensed barber, but a hairstylist. I found that women paid a lot more. My concept was to open this brewery, but as I'm telling my hair clients that this is my dream, this is what I really want to do, I really want to be a brewer, I want to own a brewery. I just wanted to brew. but I knew that I had to open my own to really be able to do that.
I ran across an article on a website that said that this barber haircut facility was going to open up a brewery too, so you could get a haircut and a beer. But they finally opened up and we wandered in, and we just keep wandering in now. We met Russ because he's a hands-on guy. He was fixing the light fixtures. It almost got electrocuted, so we kind of grabbed him on the way down.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
That's too cool. A visit to the pub is the best way to get a taste of the wide array of beers Right Brain has to offer. But there are several mainstays that can be found throughout Michigan.
Dead Kettle IPA.
This is your American IPA.
American IPA. Easy drinking. It's only 5.8%, not outrageous. Most IPAs are pushing 7.5%, so that makes it a little bit more drinkable than most. This is my favorite beer.
I was gonna say this might be one of my top favorite beers. Yeah. It definitely that you guys are brewing. It's just such an easy drinking beer.
Yeah, especially our canned product. This is my favorite. Northern Hawk Owl.
Which is the amber ale?
Yes, I think it's really good. It's nice and malty.
Wow,
it's really rich.
This is super malty.
It's really good to pair with rich meals.
CEO Stout. I got to give a big shout out to my dad, John Long. This is the beer that brought him into craft beer.
Oh.
So you took my sweet father and changed his life.
Definitely got a lot of coffee in it. It's very upfront on the coffee.
You can drink this in the morning with your pancakes.
Yeah.
If you want, put them in your pancakes.
You can just drink this for breakfast.
Yeah. Screw the pancakes.
The beers are fun, the staff is fun, and scaring people is fun. So Russell asked us to set up his sales rep, Phil Davey, who is also a professional MMA ring announcer and turned out to be the perfect mark.
Our time at Right Brain has ended. I think what better way to exit Traverse City than in a kayak?
A kayak with beer, Ryan.
Oh yes, with beer.
With Right Brain beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's paddle off into the sunset.
I'll let you do that.
Which way is the sunset? I don't know.
I have no idea. We're paddling. Next week on Pure Brews, we celebrate the end of season 2 in style.
We visit 2 old school legends of the Michigan craft beer scene, New Holland and Motor City Brew Works, all on the season finale of Pure Brews America.